Karma took her by the throat and ripped her head off. She faked her mental illness, got exposed, and never came back. Oh, wait, she is back. GlitterForever17 is back? GlitterForever17's real name is Breland Emery Kent. It sounds like the sort of name that a very fancy British person would have. But before starting her YouTube channel in 2011, Breland worked at the mall. Breland became popular by posting DIY fashion and makeup videos, which were even more popular back then than they are now. Her most popular video ever is a tutorial on how to make a pregnant Barbie costume for Halloween. And yes, it is as creepy as the thumbnail makes it look.
No, I don't know where babies come out of. Where do they come out of, Ken?
Her second most popular video is her getting permanent makeup. Permanent makeup is pretty much exactly what it sounds like. Also known as permanent cosmetics or micropigmentation, it is essentially a kind of tattoo that functions as makeup you never have to put on or take off. So the video is basically Breland getting a permanent face tattoo so that she could get attention in the YouTube makeup community. Are things starting to sound crazy yet? Does this sound like something a completely sane person would do? In the video, she just says, sometimes you have to suffer a little bit for beauty.
Enjoyable. I mean, it was a great time. And you know, sometimes you just gotta suffer a little bit for beauty. But luckily,
Breland started to make increasingly clickbaity videos in order to game the algorithm and attract attention. She started off her YouTube career making fairly tame videos about things like eyeliner, but she moved on to videos with titles like 20 period life hacks, 12 DIY boob life hacks, and 12 DIY vagina hacks. This was extra controversial, not just because the videos were filled with ridiculous nonsense, but because she had an audience that included kids. The adult themes in her videos were seen as a bizarre turn for someone who used to make kid-friendly content. But they did get her the views she was after. In one of her stranger collaboration videos, she pretends to attack and kidnap Shane Dawson before slicing his nipples off.
slicing Shane's nipple off. He seems a little excited about this.
Breland was truly heading into weird territory. Keep in mind, this was someone who originally made videos primarily aimed at tween girls. The first video she made that went viral and got over 1 million views was called 8 Cute and Easy School Hairstyles. She somehow managed to get from there to a video where fake blood splashes on the screen after she attacks Shane Dawson. In her prime, Breland was on a roll. Almost every video she uploaded would get over 1 million views. Occasionally, she'd top 5 million views with a video. YouTube was her full-time career. Her personal life also seemed to be doing pretty well, at least from the outside. She was finally proposed to by a guy called David, who she had been going out with for 10 years at that point. She was getting married and living her dream career as a makeup YouTuber. Needless to say, she was making way more money than she used to working at the mall. But just as things seemed to be going well for Breland, it started to really fall apart. Breland and her fiancé still hadn't gotten married a year later, and then she posted the now infamous video, "We Broke Up." In the video, she explained that she'd broken off her engagement with David.
We broke up. The engagement is off.
She also said that she did not cheat on him.
Did you cheat on David? No, I did not cheat on David with Slava.
But years later, she admitted that she did actually cheat on him. Kind of. In an interview with Lucas, formerly known as Fred, she gave the full story. Apparently she wasn't ready to come out with this at the time of the breakup, probably because it doesn't really make her seem all that sympathetic. In the Lucas interview, she says that while she and David were still together, she caught feelings for a Russian guy who goes by the name Slava online.
I started catching feelings for Slava, which is my current husband. We had met through YouTube, we had talked through Twitter a lot. I technically cheated on my previous fiance, if you want to call it cheating. I mean, I guess it is, but I was cheating emotionally for a really long time.
She said that she technically cheated, but doesn't elaborate on what exactly she meant by that. Then she says that she was cheating emotionally for a long time with Slava. Breland got engaged to and then married Slava. Slava ended up making his own YouTube channel. He was clearly trying to piggyback off of his new wife's internet fame. The first video on Slava's channel is called My Day as a Hardworking Husband. But then just 3 months later he was posting, "We broke up, not clickbait." Personally, I think the not clickbait part of the title probably doesn't belong in any video ever made by him or Breland, but that's not the main point here. In the strange breakup video, Slava is clearly wearing as much, if not even more makeup than his ex-wife. The two of them discuss how the biggest issue with their marriage was figuring out where to live. Breland is from Louisiana, but Slava hated it there.
We've been married for 5 years, and if you guys didn't know, just recently we moved to Los Angeles, California, and before then we lived in Louisiana for pretty much the whole time, which I hated.
Slava wanted to live in LA, but Breland thought it was just too expensive.
Living here, you have to work way harder than the usual person because it's so expensive.
Louisiana and LA have wildly different costs of living, so it's easy to see how this could be a legitimate issue. Slava hasn't posted on YouTube in nearly a year now, so it seems as though he's probably given up on making it as a YouTuber. His last video is called My New Single Life in LA as a Hot Broke Russian. The hot part is subject to debate, of course. The broke part seems highly plausible, as the video, like most of his others, only has about 4,000 views. The description of the video has his PayPal, Cash App, and Venmo. Clearly, this is a man who is desperate for money. The 20-minute long video is essentially just him wandering around Los Angeles. After breaking up with Slava, Breland began to post less on YouTube. Despite the fact that it still seemed to be her only job, Breland would rarely post on her GlitterForever17 account. Her glitter critters, which is what she called her fans, were being starved for content. The gaps between videos got longer and longer. She started doing live streams on YouNow. The streams were not at all like her YouTube videos. Instead of anything related to makeup or even related to attacking Shane Dawson with a knife, the streams were just her drunkenly walking around and rambling. Sometimes she would dance, sometimes she would cry. The stream allowed her fans to watch her mental break from reality live and in real time. She talked openly on the channel about how she was no longer making almost any money off of YouTube, especially after the adpocalypse hit. The adpocalypse really hit YouTubers like Breland hard. YouTube makes virtually all of their money from advertisers. If everyone used AdBlock, YouTube would cease to exist as a website. So in order to appeal more to advertisers, YouTube started a serious effort to make their website more kid-friendly. Channels like GlitterForever17 that posted weirdly sexual content and kid content at the same time were demonetized. The so-called second adpocalypse that happened shortly afterwards also probably had a big effect on Breland. In November of 2017, serious concerns appeared regarding all of the weird stuff for kids there was on YouTube once again. Major corporations including Mars, Adidas, and Deutsche Bank all stopped advertising on YouTube completely. The very creepy channel Toy Freaks, which had 8.5 million subscribers, was deleted completely. Like many YouTubers during the adpocalypse, most of Breland's content on YouNow was just her complaining about not making any money. To further show off how badly things were going for her financially speaking, Breland posted a video titled Foreclosed House Tour: How I Lost Everything. It's clear from the video that it's a pretty nice house right on the lake, so she must have been making pretty good money off of YouTube. She gives the audience a tour of the bank's house and explains how buying it was a complete mistake, and she's wasted a massive amount of money on renovations that she can never get back. At the end of the video, she tells the viewers that the moral of the story is not to live beyond your means.
The moral to this story is, don't live beyond your means, because that's pretty much what I did. Before, I was living in a way cheaper rent house. It really wasn't that expensive to live there, and I had built up my bank account insanely high.
She claims that she used to rent a house for cheap and had built up her bank account insanely high. She then explains that even though she started making way less money on YouTube, she continued to spend tons of money on home renovations for no apparent reason. She regrets that she'll probably never have that much money again for the rest of her life.
And yet I was still spending on all of these house renovations, and it's one of the biggest regrets of my life because I don't know if I'll ever have that much money again.
This wouldn't be the first time a YouTuber faked a mental episode, and it almost certainly will not be the last. But just because it's common doesn't mean it's really a great thing to do. Sure, it was probably entertaining for some people, but what about her actual fans? What about the glitter critters? There were probably people who were genuinely concerned for her mental health, and she was basically lying to them for money. It's not as though this was a TV show where everyone knows she's playing a character. This was supposed to be the real Breland. The YouNow streams were very combative. She would insult and attack the people watching the stream, and people in the chat would make fun of her. It was kind of dark. But she told Lucas that she just kept doing it because she knew it would get viewers and it would get people coming back. It would make people wonder what she was going to do next. Have you ever been driving and hit a bunch of traffic, only to discover that it was just people slowing down to look at an accident? This was the YouTube equivalent of that. Nikado Avocado is of course the latest YouTuber to have claimed to utilize this strategy. Breland continued to document her descent into financial ruin for her own audience. She clearly hoped that the drama of this would get her more views and thus more money. She made a video called "Things I Took for Granted Being Rich," where she talks about the various things she missed about having money. She also made a video called "Devastation of Going Broke," which goes into further detail. Breland explained how during the adpocalypse she was in denial. She continued to spend money like it was the good old days before the adpocalypse, even though she was barely making $1,000 a month off YouTube. Her oddly sexual videos had been targeted by the adpocalypse so hard that basically her entire income had been wiped out. These videos were posted to a new channel she had made that was simply called Breland. It was a true crime channel, and none of the videos got any real views. Her ramblings in these videos reveal a total lack of understanding when it came to personal finance. She never had a budget and would just buy whatever she felt like on a given day. It was during this era that she finally made an OnlyFans.
I decided to start an OnlyFans.
Clearly, this was when her desperation for money peaked. It's unclear exactly how much money she ever managed to make from OnlyFans, but her career as an e-girl selling her body had officially begun. Breland would eventually quit the self-titled channel. The last thing posted there is a video titled "Why I Quit True Crime" from 2 months ago. Despite the fact that in many videos on the Breland channel, she insisted that she didn't want to be GlitterForever17 anymore, she would end up going back to her original channel. This was probably because she'd only gotten into true crime because it was popular, but it wasn't really getting her any views. She also has an even less popular third channel called Breland Avdiv that has a bunch of miscellaneous vlog-type videos. So what's going on with Breland these days? Recently, she's returned to her original GlitterForever17 channel. She made a video called "Putting My Life Back Together Again," where she talked about everything and was very open with her fans. She made another video titled "What I Learned Losing Everything," in the same vein. Her crazy spending habits have stopped too, as evidenced by her video titled $470 Monthly Rent Vintage Apartment Tour. Breland has gone back to posting the kinds of videos that made her popular in the first place. She's not posting any of the kind of stuff that got her targeted by the adpocalypse. It seems like she's returned to the straight and narrow, even if she barely gets any views. Now you've seen the rise and fall of GlitterForever17. Do you think she'll ever be able to make YouTube her full-time job again? Or do you think she'll go on another downward spiral? Let us know what you think in the comments down below. You can also let us know who you think we should cover next. Thanks for watching.